I really tried, but I cannot fit into one video the hilariousness of Budget 2016. The Liberal Party sends in the clowns. Don't worry, we've got a fully uncosted 10-year plan to pay for this week. And the horn was factored into the defense budget. You can help notify the army when we're in danger. So today we're just going to focus on their not even correctly acronymed That's How Botch It Is New Unemployment Plan, where they've tried to make everyone forget that right up until now, their plan to deal with the unemployed was starve them to death.
Because then they'll go to heaven and everyone's employed in heaven.
They wanted to deny the unemployed welfare payments for 6 months of the year. Let's take a moment to fully appreciate just how insane that is. Caligula, the Roman emperor, so crazy he bankrupted the entire empire by building a palace for his horse, and then marched legions of soldiers to the beaches of France, where he then ordered them to collect seashells. He then returned to Rome with crates full of them, triumphantly declaring,
I have replenished the wealth of Rome by plundering the treasures of Poseidon.
Even that guy gave out the doll. But now, because it's an election year, the party that is quantifiably worse than Caligula now have to pretend, after trying to starve the unemployed to death, like they care about poor people in the slightest. And still, even when they're on their absolute best behaviour, the Liberal Party has only raised the bar from being worse than Caligula to on par with a 2,000-year-old absolute monarch that probably suffered from syphilis.
And yet I'm still criticised for being no different to the previous Prime Minister.
Remember, for years, their go-to lie to justify killing the poor was,
Look, we can't afford to feed them. We've got one of the lowest deficits in the world that no economist worth their salt thinks is even an issue. I mean, food doesn't grow on trees.
But now, clearly because one of the Looney Tunes has figured out, and I'm assuming it's the one that sounds like Schwarzenegger.
Hold on a minute. The doll doesn't have to be social welfare. It can be corporate welfare. Christ, quickly, patch me into the Malcolm Turnbull's line. Do it now. Come on.
Mirror, mirror in my hand, who's the greatest in the land?
It's the Turnbull.
Matthias! Come to my office at once, Mr. Corman. I have an apple I think you'll find exhaustingly delicious.
An apple? Oh man, that's like the exact opposite of a stogie.
Apparently, all of a sudden, the deficit's no longer a reason to kill the poor, even though these zombies and ghouls have tripled the deficit in just 3 years. We can not only afford welfare, in fact we can afford to put on an extra $751 million to the welfare budget because the Liberal Party has finally seen the light and realised,
Pepito! You have a new owner. You belong to this man now. Dad. What's the catch?
The catch? Here.
You mean to tell me that as a business owner, for every intern I accept, I get an additional $1,000? Is this a wet dream?
Probably I'm in it. Nonetheless, you'll get an extra $1,000 for each intern you accept.
That are only getting paid a fifth of the minimum wage in this country?
Yes, but you don't have to pay them that. The Australian taxpayer does. Hundreds of millions of dollars a year are going not to infrastructure, schools and hospitals, but to giving business owners an irresistible incentive to fire their entire full-time workforce and hire a bunch of interns. That will surely destroy the middle class and put the economy into a nosedive, just as it has in every other country it's been tried in. Because what businessman in their right mind would employ a full-time staff when they can have one for free?
Yeah, but I'm asking what the catch is.
Pepito, explain!
Some men just want to watch the world burn, Mr. White.
I'm not like my crazier than Caligula predecessor, David.
My name's Paul.
I don't care in the slightest, David. The point is, I don't want to see the poor starving to death and cluttering up the streets with their rotting carcasses, when these down on their luck individuals could be utilised as perfectly good slaves.
If I
may weigh in on this subject. By all means, Caligula. You are, after all, just like myself. May God. I don't understand how this assists your three-word slogan, jobs and growth. Slavery sort of makes jobs redundant. In Rome, there was a permanent 15% unemployment rate. Precisely. That's 15% of Australia's population that can be freed up and utilised to collect seashells. shells.
At last somebody finally understands the genius of my economic plan! Too bad even I think the man implementing it is completely and utterly batshit fucking nuts!
No business owner in Australia is moral enough not to take full advantage of this. You know how I know? Because I'm a business owner.
Can you please donate to Patreon?
If any business owner in the country wasn't going to take full advantage of this middle-class killing, economy-destroying, corporate welfare sham of a handout, it'd be me. The only service my business offers is slamming the wealth income inequality policies of the Liberal Party, exactly like the one we're discussing right now. That's it. So obviously, not only does it go against my entire moral being, if I took up one of these interns, it could sink my business. And still, I'm taking that up. I'm not made of stone. They just offered us slaves. Malcolm wasn't lying when he said there's never been a more exciting time to be an innovator. Even if I was alive in the reign of Caligula, I'd still have to pay for the slaves I own. Malcolm Turnbull's paying me.
Who dares make the false assumption that the Liberal Party of Australia doesn't care about the average Australian? Those brave souls who get up at the crack of dawn and toil tirelessly till sundown, eating raw squids in K-pop videos.
I could buy an entire new lounge set and have change left over just for accepting a single intern, because I wouldn't have to get any of the add-ons like a footrest. Malcolm Turnbull just gave me one. In fact, I could hire 1,000 interns and use the $1 million, because remember, I'm not made of stone, to purchase the building materials for a giant pyramid tomb for myself with the inscription, "In memory of his tireless devotion to fairness." And this is the Liberal Party's best attempt in an election year where they could lose the election to pretend like they care about the poor. It's honestly like when Lisa told Mr. Burns, "You haven't changed at all, you're still evil, and when you're trying to be good, you're even more evil," because at massive cost to the budget and the destruction of the entire economy when inevitably the middle class will be replaced with easily exploited, severely underpaid interns/slaves, the coalition of real estate agents and chicken sexes have crafted a policy so idiotic that the Malcolm Turnbull I desire slaves to build my statue shirts now have a double meaning, double the value. Go buy one now before you're replaced with an intern and can no longer afford it.
Please press the subscribe button now. Come on.